we're sisters, they're sisters-in-law, and that's her mother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my daughter.
Oh,
In case you
yeah.
couldn't figure.
Yeah, you look, I can see.
Yeah?
This is my daughter.
I think so, a little bit.
Okay, so today is Tu B'Shvat, and we are learning Perek Zayin of Tanya, which is all about klipa. Klipa is the peel or the shell. So we have lots of delicious fruit. Thank you so much, and you could see the peel right in front of you. So okay, so last week we finished speaking about the parak last week ended off with talking about the three impure klipas. And this chapter, we're going to delve more in the beginning of this chapter delves more into the klipas noiga, which is a translucent peel or shell. And the word noiga actually means like a light or a glow. So we're going to talk about klipas noiga, which is about 90 or 95% of the things that we come in contact with and of our day. Because in a regular day, it's not like we're not doing mitzvahs 24/7. Of course, we daven in the morning, but a typical day, most of the day, we're busy with mundane things, whether it be eating, sleeping, cooking, cleaning, working. So there's so much of our day, driving. Most of our day is not doing rituals. Sheikh Lulav and Esrog is for Sukkot. You know what I'm saying? Or eating matzah on Pesach. These things that we do, the ritual part of Judaism is not all the time. And of course, to eat matzah on Pesach, that is holy and a mitzvah. But to eat matzah any other day of the year is not. So on a regular day, there's not so many rituals that we're doing unless it's a specific yontif, and most of our day is dealing with the regular physical stuff. And good say, of course, learning Torah, we should be learning Torah a whole entire day. But practically speaking, of course, there are some people that they're that they learn Torah a whole day and they keep the world, strong. And we need people that learn Kailel and that's their main occupation. But for the rest of us, or for most of us, we don't have the luxury to learn Torah a whole entire day. And rather we are very much involved in the physical world. And that's not bad. Every single thing in this world, whether it be holy, whether it be unholy, every single thing has a divine spark that keeps it alive. Even something that's treif, even a pig has to have a divine spark in it in order for it to exist. If it didn't have a divine spark, it wouldn't exist. Yes, the divine spark is very much taken hostage and locked up in prison and can't get out and can't express itself, and it's very sad. But just because something has a divine spark doesn't mean that it's godly. So it's up to us. What is going to happen to this thing is up to us. We have such unbelievable power because we can make real change. When Hashem appeared to Moshe Rabbeinu by the sneh, it was holy ground. Hashem told Moshe, take off your shoes. This is holy ground. Before Hashem appeared to Moshe in the sneh was a regular, ordinary sneh. It had a godly spark, but it wasn't godly. During the time that Hashem spoke to Moshe, the sneh is holy. God is revealing himself. It's holy ground. The second that revelation is over, the sneh returned to an ordinary sneh. There was no holiness left in it. Take Har Sinai. Hashem gave the Torah to the Yidden on Har Sinai. That was that was the holiest thing ever. And if anyone came touch the mountain, they would die. The second Matan Torah was over, you could go on the mountain. As a matter of fact, today we don't even know where it is. We don't find people, for the Kaisel, we have a rabbi of the Kaisel, and people go to today. Who's going to the desert to find out where's Har Sinai? And on the other hand, and we spoke about this, the Temple Mount, which is right now not, in our hands, right? It's the people that are worshiping there are from a different faith, right? But yet, that is holy. What's the difference? Yerushalayim is holy. Eretz Yisrael is holy. What's the difference? When it comes to the Sneh and to Har Sinai, Hashem came, did his thing, and left. We did nothing to make it holy. When it comes to Har Habayis, what happened? Jewish people came and revealed the godly spark in the land or in that place. And once we did something to reveal the holiness there, you can't undo that.
And once we take a click button and elevate it, it stays elevated.
Yeah.
So, but also Hashem designated that spot, right?
Yes. Yes.
But that way we did the next step, the same?
So we did action. We transformed that place. We brought out the holiness by listening to Hashem's instruction
And building.
building a Beis Hamikdash. We brought out, we revealed that we took off the peel and we revealed the potential, the godly potential of that place, and then it became godly. Once something becomes godly, that's it. It's godly. You can't go back now. It's holy. Once it's holy, it's holy. Hashem's presence was revealed there, and the Yidden came and served Hashem there and broke karbanos and it revealed the potential there, and it became holy, and that's why it's holy ground. Because we did something. We came into we interacted with that place and we made it holy. And the same is with anything of that comes into anything that we come in contact with. 5% of stuff on this earth is holy. Anyone who looks at it, Jewish or not Jewish, knows this is a holy article. Tefillin, a Torah, mezuzah, it looks holy. It is holy. Everyone knows that it's holy. It's any time, any place, anything that's willing to relinquish the self, and that its only goal and purpose on this earth is clear for everyone to see that it's only for Hashem, that is holy. Then we have 5% of stuff that everyone knows it's unholy. Not kosher food, shrimp, lobster, whatever else, forbidden relationships, whatever it is, everyone knows, everyone can tell this is unholy. But then the 90% of the rest of the stuff, it's up to us what's going to happen with it. So in a previous class, we said that there's no gray area. We said either we're holy or we're not holy. At this very moment, are you serving Hashem or are you serving yourself? That's true. But you are either black or white. You're either in a state of holiness or unholiness, but everything else is in the gray area. The 90% of the stuff is in the gray area. Now you come in contact with it. Now once I come in contact with it, if I take the fruit and I make a bracha and I have intention to serve Hashem with the energy that I get, then I took the fruit into the white. I took the fruit into the holy realm. I elevated the fruit. I elevated myself, and it's wonderful. If, however, I did not. When I had the fruit, I was doing it for my own pleasure, for my own self. Hashem was nowhere, in the picture. Then what happens is, temporarily, I schlep the energy of this food and this godly spark in the food down. Temporarily. Why? Because it was kosher food. So if it's kosher food, I don't have the power. I don't have the power to permanently disable the spark, but temporarily I schlepped it down. As
What's
soon
the status
as
of it now? It's not Gimel Klipa Tmeis,
Okay.
it just stays Klipa.
Okay, so excellent question. So there's two types of klipa. There's klipas noiga, which is a klipa that has a light to it. It's translucent. It has a glow, which means that there's potential. Which means that there's potential in it to elevate it to holiness. That I have this potential to make it godly. But if I did not eat the food to serve Hashem, I did it specifically, and I did it only for my pleasure. Temporarily, it goes down to the 3 impure klipos temporarily until I do learn Torah or do a mitzvah or daven, and then automatically I davened and I learned with the energy that I got from that fruit, and then automatically it comes back up. Okay, sure. Okay. I'm going to give an example of what it means, to what could happen to take this spark of the food and schlep it down. Here's an example. You have 2 people. One is a beggar, starving hungry. Maybe he used to be a genius. He is a genius. He did very, very well in business, whatever it was, but something happened and his business crashed, and whatever it was, he didn't have good fortune, and somehow he lands up as a starving, hungry beggar. And then he walks into a restaurant, he's starving, hungry. Then you have another guy, he is a judge he's a master chef, and he's a judge judging some kind of competition between other chefs. And take both these people and bring them to a restaurant. The starving, hungry beggar, he doesn't even eat with a fork and knife. He just stuffs his face with the food. And then you have this master chef judge. He is tasting every food, thinking about it, contemplating it, judging it, rating it. Who is more sunk in to the who is more selfish and sunk into his pleasure? Who do you think?
The judge.
The judge. The beggar is stuffing his face because he's pashat starving. It looks like it looks very animalistic, but he's just trying to survive. The other guy, he might have a fancy suit, a nice tie, but he is so sunk into the gashmias. He's so sunk into the food, not just because he's starving, but rather he's using his emotions and his intellect to contemplate about the greatness of these dishes and what's in them and the recipes and like that. His whole mitzias is inside, sunk into the gashmias, and it's all for pleasure, and there's no godliness in it whatsoever, even if the food is 100% kosher, and even if he said a bracha.
Right, so let's say this guy, if he says it's Bashan, that's also be the same thing, like you said, it's a bracha. It's still not okay?
So the bracha thing is a very, very
That's what I'm
interesting
saying.
question.
Yeah, because this is something that we see a lot. Like people get very into food, like you're saying.
People get very into
we're doing
food.
We're doing it for like Shabbos. We're doing it for like
A simcha.
So how does that play in? So like that's what we're saying is.
So the thing is like this. Just because you made a bracha doesn't mean that you could eat whatever you want in a gluttonous way for your own pleasure and have 3 portions of dessert just because I made a bracha. Without having any without having Hashem in mind whatsoever, just for my pleasure. to have a third to have a third portion of dessert, it's not for Hashem.
Okay, but what the other one about being very into like making fancy dishes and gourmet foods and getting very obsessed with it?
Why that could be avoided Hashem.
That's what I'm saying. So but you were saying that
But you have to
So you're
ask
saying that-
yourself,
you know,
what is the
Is
purpose?
it really avoids Hashem?
Are you doing it to outdo someone else?
Right.
Or you're
Is it
doing
really
to
avoids
cover-
Hashem?
You know, Hawaii, that he makes these beautiful things and you put it down,
Right.
not sloppy.
This is not, I'm saying like when people get so, like you were saying, this guy that comes to the thing.
It's an extreme example,
Right.
but so the thing is like this, and how do I know if let's say God forbid a person eats not kosher food, and they made a bracha on it,
Mhm.
did the bracha do anything?
No.
No, it's actually a chutzpah
Mhm.
to make a bracha on not kosher food because Hashem said, "Do not touch this."
Slap in the face.
It's like a slap in the face. Exactly. So a bracha is wonderful. It's wonderful, but I think that the purpose of the bracha is to make us mindful.
Mhm.
Because when you're making a bracha, even if you're saying it speed lightning like a choo-choo train, right? Even if we're saying it so quickly, the fact is that those couple of seconds that you said the bracha, you only said the bracha because of Hashem. It's really meant to remind us that this food is here.
This food, we're showing Hashem as abundance in the world. Like, Baruch Atah Hashem, Baruch Atah, but through the food, we're bringing out godliness into the world. That's what the bracha is doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So just because something is kosher, if you go to the store and you could, I don't know if this exists, let's say 100% kosher potato chips, shrimp flavored potato chips, right? It's 100% kosher, right? So the question is, why are we eating this? If it was a person that became a Baal Tshuva and was used to this flavor and you know,
Bacon chips, bacon chips in it?
I don't know.
You ever hear them?
No, I just know that.
Yeah,
My husband was sick and he was in the hospital, Pesach. They told him he's eating French stuff on the first night of Pesach.
Okay.
It turns out he wasn't eating, period, but they served him French toast, but it was
Wow.
special of Pesach
Wow.
from the Gan.
Yeah. So just because something is kosher or just because you said a bracha doesn't mean that you could do whatever you want. And this, not just with food, also with relationships, with a marriage, right? There's a chuppah and kiddushin, and now this couple is permitted to each other. But just because you're married doesn't mean that you could do whatever you want. You still have to have kedusha in your life. You still, you can't. Yeah, just because the marriage is kosher doesn't give you a green light. Do whatever you want just for the sake of pleasure and not for the sake of Hashem. So that's the story. Okay.
Never too young to die. Never too young to die.
So what happens if? Okay, so what happens if a person, and this doesn't just apply to food or to relationships, this applies to any thought, speech, and action that we do. And if chas v'shalom, a person spoke lashon hara or went against one of the 365 mitzvahs leisase, then the energy that was used to speak the lashon hara or to do this aveira, what happens is it goes down to the 3 impure klipos, and it is trapped in impurity, and it is stuck there forever.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah,
Until it's stuck there forever, unless, so only in Yiddish it's forever. But you have the only way out is if Mashiach comes. When Mashiach comes, then Hashem is going to get rid of all the impurity. So once the impurity is gone, it won't be trapped in the impurity is gone.
What does it look like? Where's it going? Where's it trapped to?
So it's all spiritual. It's we're talking about spiritual stuff. It's not like it's
I
in
know,
a
like, what does that mean? What has it affect us in this world? What are we seeing from it?
we're giving chayas to the opposite side of holiness.
Mhm. So we're getting like some sort of like, are we able to feel it or understand it and know it's here?
Yeah, because when okay, so that's an excellent question. Let's understand what happens when a person does an avera.
Okay.
And when doing an avera, there's three different scenarios. One scenario is that you're completely second. Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, there's three different situations of a person doing an avera. One is something called oines. You are completely unaware. For example, you're sleeping in your bed and it's Shabbos, and the alarm clock rings, and you're still sleeping. You're in your sleep, and you just automatically just press the snooze button, and you're completely unaware because you're still sleeping. That's a accident. That's one type of that's one thing. And for such a thing, you can't get punished for it.
Mhm.
You were completely unaware. Next situation, it's Shabbos. You take your rest. You wake up. The alarm clock rings. You wake up, and you know what you're doing. You know that you're taking your hand and you're pressing the snooze button. And the reason why you're doing it is because you had such a deep sleep. You woke up. You thought it was Wednesday. You didn't realize it was Shabbos, and you pressed the snooze button. So here, what happened? It was a conscious action. It was a conscious action. You know what you did. You turned on the light or you pressed the snooze button, but it was inadvertent. It was a mistake because you didn't realize what day it was. And the third option is when you do it on purpose. It's Shabbos. I know it's Shabbos, but guess what? We're in 2025. We're living in a modern world, and I don't care. And therefore, I'm pressing the snooze button or I'm turning on the light or whatever it is. That is called mazid. That's on purpose.
The other one is a shogeg, probably.
Yes. The second one is a shegeg. Yes. So the truth is,
Amazing, on purpose.
yeah. So the truth is that a mazid, it could only happen to someone who's from, who really knows what's right. You can't, a mazid, someone who was a tinek shenishba, who didn't grow up religious, never will be in the category of zaden because they don't really understand what Shabbos is. Okay. In any case, so what does this compare to? A person went outside. First, a person went outside and didn't know that it was raining. Went outside and slipped and fell in the mud. We're not going to punish you. You ready? We're not. But what happens is when the person slipped in the mud, right? Doing an avera, even if it was an accident, you still got dirty, and you can't say it's not my fault, so I'm just going to sit here. No, it's true. It's not your fault. We're not going to punish you for it, but you have to pick yourself up out of the mud and take off the dirty clothes and put on clean clothes and clean yourself. Right? When a person does an avera, you made yourself dirty. It did affect you. An avera does affect a person.
Even if it was a mistake.
Even if it was a mistake, the damage was done. You brought impurity into your life.
You have to fix it.
Yeah, you have to fix it. You might not get punished for it. But you have to fix it. For example, if a person is walking down the street and there was a pebble and their foot kicked the pebble and the pebble landed in someone's window and broke the window, okay, it wasn't your fault, but still, you're gonna pay for the window, and you're gonna apologize, even though it's an accident. Forget about a car accident. Okay, it's called an accident for a reason. It was an accident, but so what? You're still responsible to pay for it. And the same thing is with an avera. If a person did an avera by accident, there's still the damage was done. Now there's different levels of damage. So a person fell and slipped in the mud, and there was a surveillance camera that caught it on camera. And now there's a security guard who, for his entertainment, he watches. He watches this person every single day. He watches the person entertainment to see a person swimming in the mud. Okay, so swimming in the mud.
I love watching people.
So what happens is now there's even a record of it. There's a record of it, and maybe it's on YouTube. Maybe they have on YouTube a video of a bunch of people falling, and it makes other people laugh. Maybe there's even a record of it. But you know what? Even if there's a record of it, it's still separate from you. Okay, it's on YouTube. What could I do? I have to delete it from YouTube. But still, it's not me. Another situation is you went outside. It was raining. You slipped in the mud, and you broke your wrist, and you broke your leg. Now, what's going to be? Now you need a cast. And then after you take off the cast, now it's your choice. Either this wrist is for your entire life, it's going to be the most vulnerable part of your body. And if you ever fall again, it's the weakest part of your body because you fell once. You know, sometimes you have an athlete that they sprain a leg or sprain whatever, and then that foot is, it's easier for it to happen again. Or what you could do is you could make that there should be a gain from this fall. You go to therapy and you do everything you could to strengthen the muscles all around the wrist or the leg. And it ends up that wrist or that leg becomes the strongest part of your body forever. So now what happened? There was a net gain from the experience. Mm-hmm. And that's irony. So this story, we're going to take it, we're going to give more examples, and we're going to explain what is happening. Okay. So now basically we explain now the different levels of an aveira. You could have, you could slip and fall. It's not your fault. No one's going to punish you, but you could slip and fall, and there's a record of it. You could slip and fall, and then it actually is hurting your body. There's different levels of severity of what happens when you slip and fall when you do an aveira. Okay, so now a person slipped and fell and did an aveira, and they did damage. They might not get punished for it, but damage was done. And now this piece of lashon hara or this action for forbidden relationship or whatever it is, now that godly spark or that there's a godly energy. The godly energy is now sunk into 3 impure klippas, and it's stuck there. And it's stuck there forever. Unless A, Mashiach comes, or B, if I do such a great teshuvah and I change something, then I could redeem this energy that is stuck, or that was stuck in the 3 impure klippas.
Change something in that area.
So we have to understand. You have to understand what is teshuvah gedolah. It's an incredible level of teshuvah that ends up with a net gain, and only such a kind of teshuvah would release that spark. So now that we spoke about different types of averos, right, or falling, slipping and falling, getting dirty, hurting yourself. Now we're going to speak about different types of teshuvah to understand what teshuvah gedolah is, to understand what we need to do or how far we need to go in order to be able to release energy that was sunk into the 3 impure klippas and got stuck there. So now we're going to talk about teshuvah. Okay.
Are you skipping or you just?
No, I'm not
That's
skipping.
it.
I'm not skipping. Um, okay. So we're going to take a relationship up. We're going to take an example of a marriage. A couple gets into an argument and they're not talking to each other, whatever it is. All of a sudden, the husband realizes, I better apologize. You know why? If I don't apologize, what were you going to say?
We need supper tonight.
Exactly. I need supper tonight. If I don't apologize, my wife is not going to cook dinner and then I'm going to be hungry. What is the motivation for saying I'm sorry?
Say something.
It's for myself. It's the husband is not apologizing because he feels that his wife was hurt. He's apologizing 100% for selfish reasons. Or maybe the wife apologizes because she needs the cash. So you're saying I'm sorry. You're saying I'm sorry because you need something from the other person. That is the lowest level of teshuvah. Okay. Now we'll talk about a higher level of teshuvah. A couple got into argument and the husband or the wife realizes that, they did not behave properly. They realize they did something wrong. They have the charata, and they're gonna. What are the 3 steps? You have a verbal confession, and then there's remorse. You feel bad, and then you promise you're never going to do it again. And you apologize. But you say, I'm so sorry that I did this. I really acted out of line. But I'm really not such a bad person. The reason why I acted this way is because I was very stressed out. Someone at work said something. I had something didn't go well in my business, or whatever happened, and therefore I acted like this. So that's already so here we're okay, we could talk about where that level fit, what type of tshuva that is. So you're still justifying, you're apologizing, but you're still justifying yourself.
The but.
Okay, now is a higher level. Higher level of teshuva is when you realize that this person, that my spouse, I really value them in my life. And this is the person that I value more than anybody else. And this is the person that I've chosen to dedicate my life to. This person stood by me in hard times and stands by me in hard times. This is the person that I could speak to about anything. Do I really want this argument between us? And this argument, I'm saying the fact that I value my spouse transcends the argument. I value the relationship more than I care about being right.
That's beautiful. Makes it easier to apologize when you think in that frame of mind.
So it might happen that a child so this couple was arguing very passionately, and the child that's watching this, maybe from the other room or maybe from upstairs, it crosses their mind. They see their parents screaming at each other, and the child becomes afraid, this looks really bad. Maybe my parents are going to get divorced. And the child's afraid that their parents are going to get divorced because of this argument. And then a few days, weeks, months go by, and the child sees, no, they didn't get divorced. It was a passionate argument. But you know what? What happened in this case is that the foundation of the marriage is strong. And even though there's an argument, the couple goes back to the foundation and says, yes, we didn't see eye to eye in this matter, and maybe we never will see eye to eye in this matter. But the relationship is fundamentally deeper and stronger than this particular ugly argument. And maybe I wasn't thinking clearly, and maybe I was sleep deprived, and maybe I was stressed out, and maybe I was triggered. So this is not a justification, but rather I wasn't myself. And that is what regular teshuvah means. Teshuvah means lashuv, to return to my regular self.
How's it a little different than we said before, like just explaining yourself a little bit, like the other one before, like I understand the levels, right? But like by saying like I own up, I wasn't right, I'm totally wrong, I've hurt you. And I'm not saying I'm justifying, but like it's coming from a place, not because I'm want to hurt you. It's just like I was wrong, I acted in a way I shouldn't have acted. So it just opens the doors, like I'm responsible and I shouldn't have done it. But what is it about like giving a little justification so it makes it like less like what?
Okay, so it's true. It feels like it's 3 different levels, but if we want, we could just,
It's the same level
define. So if you want to make it more clear, that's why I was like,
Right.
It took me a couple of seconds to get my bearing because it's true. Okay, so
not myself, it's the same thing. You're just being
Okay.
you're using more words, but it's actually clear. It's just
okay,
being more,
so if I'm justifying myself,
that's different.
I'm justifying myself because I have to be right.
That's that, but then you also could say the other way, not to justify, just to get an understanding.
Right.
Like it's a little bit like
So the other one is, so one is very, very selfishly motivated.
right.
I'm saying I'm sorry because I need the cash. I'm saying I'm sorry because I want dinner. I'm saying I'm sorry, but just know that I'm really right.
Right.
And I'm justifying it. But again, it's about me. Versus the second level is I want to return, I want to go back to how the relationship really is. Okay, I fell in the mud. Okay, we got dirty, but let's go back to, we don't walk around with dirty clothes. We're going to go back, take a shower, go back to who you really are. And go back to, sometimes you tell a couple, remember the days when you were dating, remember the days, the Shana Rishayna, whatever it is, how, what a lovely, wonderful, loving couple you really, truly are, to go back to the foundation of the marriage. That is tshuva, that's regular teshuvah. This is the hardest situation. Now comes, and we're going very dramatic, and we're going, very extreme example. And that is when the couple goes through a crisis because there's a major breakdown of trust. If the wife accuses the husband of being with another woman, whether it's true or it's not true, either way, Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Mm-hmm. Because if he was with another woman or has a relationship with another woman, that's terrible. And even if he didn't, it's still terrible because she thinks that he did. So he breached the trust. So now Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Is there any way that this couple could be helped? To tell them, remember, the Shana Rishayna, that's not going to work because love could come and love could go. Now the tremendous damage here. The wrist was broken. The foot. What were you saying?
And now you have to rebuild the trust.
Okay, now you have to rebuild the trust. Amazing. Okay, you have to rebuild the trust, which is there's two parts to that to try to save this marriage. Number one, we have to make a commitment not to repeat this offense. And number two, you have to make a commitment not just for the past, not to repeat the past, but for the future. A commitment to work on things. And a lot of times we hear that, to work on things, and we have no idea what that means. It doesn't mean that because it's a moment of crisis, I promise that at the moment of crisis, I promise that I will never and I will be here every single evening at 5 p.m. and help you put the kids to bed and supper, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and make a million promises in crisis mode. And then once we get back to normal mode, I forget all the promises that I made. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, what is it?
Same thing like someone's mad, yeah?
Yeah.
Same thing, like any commitments and change for the future, right? How will it last? That's, no, I'm just thinking.
Yeah. How is it going to last? And what does it look like when an addict decides, I will not drink anymore? What does that look like? What does it look like when a person honestly takes ownership of the mess? He's not just making promises because he's afraid, he's not just making promises because he's afraid that oh my goodness, it's a crisis mode. I have to promise who knows what to put them back together again. But we're talking about a person honestly takes ownership of the mess. What does that look like? Before we go into the relationship, I know I stopped that short. We're going to go to a different example of a business, and then we're going to go back to the marriage.
Because I do this type of work, so I have to hear what the lens of, I do a lot of stuff up. We do, but it's, interesting.
Okay, so we're going to hold it for a second, even though I really want to, it's very tempting to go straight to the.
And addicts and everything, but there is like this attachment injury. I work it through.
Okay, so I'm going to get to it in just a minute, but I'm just going to bring another example just to get to it. And that is, take an example of a business. Okay, a person owns a business and he made a very poor decision. And because of this poor decision, he almost wrecked the entire business. And it's going to take years to recover from this mess up. And what happens? There's a deep regret. Now, regret, there's all kinds of regret. You can have regret if you sent the WhatsApp message on a public group instead of the one specific person. That's a regret.
It used to be you couldn't.
You could, yeah.
Sometimes you don't.
Remember years ago when it first came out, you couldn't take it back?
Yeah.
It was like shaking, I once had a picture, so like to Helen's chat. I think we all did that, like a barbecue for sale. I'll never forget. I didn't realize. And then my friend, get out the chat. I was like a very serious tone. I didn't realize I was awful. Yeah.
But then there's a true regret. What's a true regret? A million examples within examples. What does true regret look like? A new mother who takes her brand new baby to give him a bath and puts the baby in the water. The baby screams, and the mother realizes the water was too hot.
I've done that. Not newborn, but I was like crying and like a little uncomfortable. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hot. It's like, I really,
So what is that? That's a burning sense of regret. It's searing regret. It cuts through your soul, and there is no way that you could do it again. Okay? They say that a person is not wealthy until they lose their first million.
Rusty?
The person is not wealthy.
I'm like rusty.
Until they lose their first million. They learn so much from the pain of making that worst decision, and they will live with that feeling of pain for as long as they're in that business, and that pain is the greatest motivator for the rest of their business career.
So in order to get that, they have to really feel that pain to get.
So because they felt the pain of messing up so bad, and that pain is so real, they are not going to make that mistake again. It's not going to happen.
It doesn't, I think I mean, I like the example, I think that sometimes it does happen, they do. You know, they make the same mistakes, some people. What
So-
Einstein say, like the definition of insanity.
Insanity is repeating the same thing.
Right. I'm just saying.
Expecting different
Right.
results.
So if a person makes the same mistake again, if the mother puts the baby back in the bathtub and doesn't check the water,
That's insanity.
then she did not take ownership for the mess up. And if the businessman made the same mistake again, he did not take ownership the first time.
It's like the person that has an affair and he gets an affair again. You know, he doesn't take ownership. It's
Then
just,
your real tshuva.
there's no marriage anymore. The one that puts the work in, can build the trust. We see that. The ones that they see change, they have a marriage, but the ones that keep on repeating, doesn't work. It doesn't know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what's the enemy is complacency. Complacency is I can take everything for granted and I don't have to do anything. That's complacency.
I have to work, I'm good. Won't happen again. They say, don't worry, it won't happen again.
So if you have a couple, yes, it's the deep real tshuva is the deep regret, and we're going to expound on it even more. But let's just go for 1 second.
It really pains you. You did, like, you really feel bad about it. Like, I have to really hit that bottom part.
Right. So if the couple Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall and the woman said, "Listen, I don't trust you. What were you doing at midnight? You know, whatever." Okay, whatever for whatever reason that she doesn't trust her husband, and the husband says, "I will never do it again, and I promise make all the promises," and then 3 months later he's right back where he started.
It's interesting because when we do a couple, when we do work, and like I've seen it, like when the person that I betrayed starts crying about the pain, a lot of healing. Like I really see it. Like when they feel that they're in pain because their person is in pain, which is saying.
No, but the question is if they themselves should start crying.
They do. The person that hurt starts to cry.
Yeah.
The person that hurt that person starts to cry about the pain. And you see the shifts. You know, the ones that like, you know, it's when they see that the person's so in pain because they hurt them. They feel it, like they're so deeply hurt.
Yeah.
Then you see that
there has to be a real regret,
Yeah.
not just I say I regret it, but actually
they feel it.
a deep regret. And because of that mess up, because of that deep regret, every single day for the rest of their lives, the husband every single day is going to prove to his wife that he really loves her. He's not just going to be complacent, go back to square one. Constant work, climbing, pushing, trying, learning, investing. Yeah. And such a situation where the husband, the wife, they're investing in the marriage and date nights and whatever it takes to spend quality time, etc. The end is that their bond, their marriage is going to be the strongest. It's going to be not only stronger before, then stronger than everyone else.
Yeah.
And when you see the child that you invest the most energy in.
Yeah, it's like, you know, building a better relationship that's more beautiful.
Right.
And even like I go with example. Yeah, it's very true. That's
Gonna be.
The couple who fought their way through a crisis and didn't fall who didn't fall to pieces and fought their way through the crisis, their relationship will be stronger than their peers. And it doesn't just have to be doesn't just have to be a marriage. If there could be a loss, any kind of loss, a financial loss, the loss of a child,
anything.
Yeah. But when couples stick, pull through a challenge together, then that relationship is stronger.
Yeah, and sometimes you bring them apart. It depends if they do this type of
right. The pain teaches them, or the pain taught them how much they actually love each other. And the fear of loss or the fear of potential of loss is real. And here, what's the chap over here? I'm not just going back to the foundation of the marriage. I'm not just going back to how the foundation of the marriage, the Shana Rishayna, okay? Not just going back to, not just the fundamentals are good, But all of a sudden, this crisis reminds me that this is where I want to put my energy now. This is where I want to invest now. This is my priority now. This is who I love more than anyone else. And it's the failure that becomes the fuel for the incredible success that follows. Had there not been that failure, had there not been that mistrust, there wouldn't be that jet fuel for the progress and the growth. And this is the avodah of a Baal Teshuvah. And a Baal Teshuvah is even greater than a tzaddik.
That's why I say that. I can't stand the way place of about.
Yeah. But on the other hand, we also said, that someone who rebels against Hashem could only be someone who was from. Because if you weren't, of course, the Baal Tshuva is someone who wasn't from, became from. But there's also a massive, but also the real Baal Tshuva is someone who wasn't from, they didn't rebel, they didn't know any better. Or if they rebelled, because they didn't know.
At risk, and they come back, they end up being such good, like, they went to see, like, they're the best, they're very good people, they're good boys, like, you see, like, they went to like, they had their down, and they really come back in a place of real authenticity and connection that a guy they wouldn't have.
Right.
You see it a lot.
Right. Another example, you have a father who for 20 years he's in his office, didn't spend time with his children. After 20 years, one day he comes home and he sees his 20-year-old daughter, and he all of a sudden and he realizes, I don't know anything about this child. I don't know what's her favorite color. I don't know what's her favorite food. I don't know anything. I don't know. I missed the boat. And the pain of that wake-up call is so strong that he will be transformed and be the best father ever. The loss of the 20 years makes the person appreciate what he needs to have more of.
That's why Hashem gives, if you go, they give us struggles, it's always to get closer to him. That concept, sometimes it's like a wake-up call. He didn't care about us, he would just let us be. Once he wants that relationship, it's like that same thing, like the struggles being closer, working through relationship.
100%. So when we're talking about teshuvah, we're trying to figure out what's a teshuvah gedayla. Regular teshuvah is return to who I really am, go back to myself, go back to the foundation, to go back to the safe space or the foundation of the connection. That's a regular teshuvah. But then there's a teshuvah gedayla, that I realize that for the rest of my life, this is where my energy has to go. This is where I have to invest. This is where I have to put my time, my passion. And I have to double my efforts going forward. Not just let's go back to status quo. If I fell 3 steps back, I'm going to go forward 12 steps. Not I went 3 steps back, now I'm going to come back 3 steps forward. But no, I'm going to go 12 steps forward or infinitely forward. And then all that action, the mistrust, the inappropriate behavior becomes part of the growth. It doesn't get canceled out, it gets transformed. And that's what it means when a person does regular teshuvah, zdainais nasu like hizachiyais, which means the thing that you did on purpose is downgraded to it's a mistake. Like if you get a ticket, God forbid, a speeding ticket, and now there's 4 points on the license. So you go to court, and now we're going to lessen the ticket to a 1 point offense, right? So if a person does teshuvah, he takes something that he did on purpose, and he lessens it. He lessens the severity of it. Okay, now it's like as if he did by mistake, and if he did by mistake, then we don't get punished for it. That's a regular teshuvah. But then there's the teshuvah gedayla, where it's called the zdainais nas like hizachiyais. The sin that you did on purpose, the rebellion, that itself becomes a mitzvah. It's not magic. It's not a magic trick. But rather, it's Yerida L'Tzerech Aliyah. But rather, the being so far away is what propels the closeness. Like a person who's in a desert for 3 days with no water. His thirst can't compare to your thirst when you're sitting here with a bottle of Poland Spring on the table. It's the thirst, it's the hitting rock bottom which propels the growth and the connection. So therefore it becomes considered a merit. Because it's the incident of the not trusting, of the breakdown of trust, which ultimately led to the most beautiful relationship. So the mistrust ends up not only being part of the journey, but it fueled the journey. And therefore it becomes a merit. For example, when the Yidden sinned with the golden calf, that was the most terrible thing. What was the result of that? Hashem revealed his 13 attributes of mercy. And then we had Yom Kippur, and we had a Mishkan, and we had a Beis HaMikdash. But what propelled it was the most ugly, disgusting thing. So a person engaged in a behavior that got locked into the world of impurity. But that behavior became the catalyst for a new investment in Yiddishkeit. There's something new. And that loss of energy is no longer locked in the impurity because it became part of the journey upward. There has to be a net gain in order for there to be Teshuvah Gedolah. When the most negative, impure element of our lives, is transformed to become the shiny stars of our lives, that's Teshuvah Gedolah. It's all in our hands. It's all in our hands.
But then we could take it out of the klipa.
Yeah. Yeah. The only way to get it out of the 3 impure klipas, we did an aveira. The only way to get it out is if we do a Teshuvah Gedolah.
And then it comes back into.
And then it becomes into merit, and it could actually become holy. It actually becomes holy because it's that action, that thing is what actually propelled the journey upward. So there was a net gain. It's not that I was over here, I did an avera, I fell down, and now I'm going to go back to where I was. No, you have to be able to. It has to be transformed. There has to be a gain.
Right.
The guy lost $1 million in business, but then because of his mistake,
He was able to work.
He was able to never make this mistake again, and he ended up in being a billionaire. Because he lost $1 million, he ended up becoming a billionaire. Okay, fine. Then it was part of the journey. But if he lost $1 million, then you got it back $1 million. Then what was the point? There was no net gain. Basically, it's all in our hands. Hashem came down and revealed himself on Har Sinai. But that didn't remain holy because that was Hashem. The only way something becomes holy is when we make it holy. And that.
So you say to them, I'm sorry. You have to do the action. Like you say Salah. You go to the dad every day. Even Yom Kippur. And I'm sorry. Hashem gives. You come out of Yom Kippur. There has to be more of a work.
Yeah.
Can't people. You have to do real work. And like, how do I transform? Like I did some. Like it's people. They're just saying, I'm sorry. I won't do it again in my head.
Yeah.
I just don't do it again.
But whatever it is, you have to get out of the mud and take a shower.
Well, that's just to avoid the thing.
Then you're going to be muddy. You're going to be still sitting in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened. Something happened.
Right. Let's say it's we just in horror. And that's the whole topic. You have to go back and say, I'm sorry.
See, the thing is that in America, the mentality is, as long as I don't hurt anyone, I could do whatever I want. But Yiddishkeit says we can't do whatever we want. We can't hurt ourselves. Just because it belongs to me, just because it's mine, doesn't mean I could destroy it. Can't destroy my own body. I can't commit suicide. It's not mine. It's not mine to. I can't do whatever I want. And that's one thing that Yiddishkeit says. Another thing Yiddishkeit says is that spiritual harm is just as bad, if not worse, than physical harm or destroying something physically. Smashing a window, I could pay money and fix the window. You broke a bone, go get a cast. God forbid. But when there's spiritual, when a person hurts themselves or hurts someone else spiritually, takes them away from Yiddishkeit, that is far worse than murder. So we might not see the damage that's done, but spiritual damage could be worse than physical damage. Okay, but the point, well, let's think about the positive. The positive is that Hashem could reveal himself on Har Sinai, and today that space is not holy. There's no holiness there. You don't find there's no shul there, there's no rabbi there, there's no giving out red bracelets there, there's nothing there. But yet, when we take a fruit and make a bracha and use that energy to serve Hashem, we actually create holiness. We actually create a holiness. We actually and there's so much that's at stake, pun intended. You know, you have a steak that you could eat, and there's so much at stake. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do? There's so much at stake with what you're going to do with the steak. Are you going to eat the steak and have a barbecue, and just because for my pleasure and for no other reason, or the steak could become holy. The steak could become holy. Fat, juicy steak could become holy if the intention of it is to bring another person to Yiddishkeit. You know,
like, let's be honest, like, how many people doing that?
But I'll tell you,
We're all eating steaks, like people really like we go to barbecues all the time.
No,
Right?
but it's just more of like.
It's awareness. It's awareness, right?
In your brain.
I think
once
most
you're
people we
aware.
learn like we're so automatic.
But if I make a barbecue,
make a bracha, we think that's what we
Because you
do.
want a brain. And
yeah.
that's
If I make a
Most
barbecue,
people we make a bracha, we think, okay, we did our thing. We made a bracha. Now we eat our steak. We're not thinking more into it like that.
but why did I make a barbecue? I made a barbecue because I had a Torah class, and if I make a barbecue, it's going to attract more people. It happened this Monday. My husband has a Tanya class in our house a Monday night. Someone had a baby, and in honor of the baby, they ordered Mike's Chicken for the class. And somewhere it was posted, there's going to be Mike's Chicken at the class. And guess what? I said, so many people came. So if the Mike's Chicken is going to bring the people to the chicken became holy. A good joke. It says that Rabbi, he would say a good joke. He would say a joke before he would teach his students.
Also, like if you bring a speaker in, some to event,
Yeah,
it comes like a whole,
exactly. So a good joke and delicious meat, it could become holy. It's all
the desserts on the table.
Yeah, it's all up to us. It's all up to us what we're going to do with it. That's how much power Hashem gives us. And Hashem wants a dira b'tachteinim. Hashem wants a dwelling place on this earth. He doesn't want to just come down and shine his light, Mount Sinai. No. He wants us to do the work. He wants us to make the world holy.
To make the chicken holy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when we do it, it stays
More
holy
special.
forever. When we do it, it stays holy forever. When Hashem comes and shines holiness on us, and we don't do any of the work, then what happens? Then you have Chet Ego, because we didn't do the work.
That's why Chabad is so strong today, because the Rebbe didn't just lead. He made us see them into leaders. So his light is here. Because his mission is going on.
Keep on going.
Yeah, we spoke about we have to do the work.
Right.
The Rebbe did his part.
Right.
And
Not just inspire people, but turn them into leaders to do the work, and that's why what do we do? What do we do when we go out there? Any encounter that we have with people, when we light a Shabbos candle, put on tefillin, empower them to actually
Use their stuff to
do a mitzvah and take energy, take the candle and make it holy. So
you're making them bring their love
yes,
to the whole-
yes,
But
yes.
They're making them do that voda.
They're making them do
And
the
we don't just,
avodah.
like the other way, just give lectures.
And
This
I
is like
think
literally
sometimes-
experiential. They're literally, we're making them
Do
create
an
their
action.
own holiness.
Right. And that's the
The
greatest
next
gift.
level, the deepest.
You have to do the.
You do it, you,
That's the way.
that's
the Rebbe
absorbing it.
Indoctrinated that
It's so right, but
the person that,
has to
what
experience.
they say, that other Rebbes make see them, the Rebbe made leaders, like.
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah,
Like he inspired people that didn't realize they have the potential to do what they do.
mhm.
Yes, I'll tell you what happened.
So they were the first to do challah bakes, all them, because they would have everybody do the work, right? It was more of a concept from them. We took it more, but do the mitzvahs, light the candles, right? It was like.
Bring holiness into the world. Bring holiness in the world because that's making a difference. That's what Hashem wants. Everyone is capable of it. So I'll tell you what happened. I don't know if I said it last week or not, but last Sunday, I WhatsApped Rachel Kaufman, and I said, Rachel, can I send Shabbos candle kits for the Shiva house? Her husband passed away so suddenly, and she wrote 2 words: yes, please. On Tuesday, my husband went to Margate, where there was a Shiva, and I had ordered on Amazon. It came overnight, 2 beautiful baskets. I wanted one. It came 2 in a pack. I filled a beautiful basket filled with the Shabbos candles, and my husband brought it to Margate. That was Tuesday. Wednesday, I went to pay a Shiva call at the Volasovs, and I went with Kara. Kara is a woman that lives in Tom's River, and she knows the Volasovs very well because she was living in the Manalapan area, and Rabbi Levi Volasov and his wife, they did a bat mitzvah for both of Kara's daughters. We're driving back from the Shiva, and Kara herself, she started an organization called Maccabees on the Ground, which is yes, it's an organization for mothers of college students to fight anti-Semitism. And she said to me, I feel so bad because there's someone that's trying to push me out of the organization and kind of take over. And she says, listen, I'm in touch with mothers from 30 college campuses. I said, Kara, could be this person's trying to push you out, but you're in touch. She showed me 30 groups, 30 WhatsApp groups of mothers and college campuses. I said, do you know what kind of power you have? Maybe we can get these mothers, 30 groups of mothers from 30 different colleges. I said, you have incredible power. Maybe you can encourage them to light Shabbos candles. And when you go to these rallies, they're just screaming with a megaphone. Give everyone a Shabbos, let all the mothers take home a Shabbos candle kit. She liked the idea. When she dropped me off, I remember I had that second basket. I only wanted 1 basket from Amazon, but I had 2. I filled it with Shabbos candles, kits, the pretty ones. And I gave it to Kara. Next time she goes to the rally, she could take it with her. And I said, take a picture of it. Put it on the WhatsApp group for all encourage these mothers that when they go for these rallies on the college campuses, they should. I said, you can't fight darkness with a stick. Bring light. Fine. So this was Wednesday. Wednesday night, I'm sitting in my house and I realized, I said, I was at the Shiva. Also, my very good friend from high school, Levi's sister, Rifki Horowitz, I had seen her at the Shiva, and I said, there's so many people that are coming through the Shiva house.
Margate, maybe?
No, Margate is coffins. Okay. I said, there has to be Shabbos candles here. Of course, it's a Chabad house, but everyone is busy mourning. Maybe no one's thinking. I said, Rifki, my husband's coming to pay a Shiva call on Thursday. Do you want him to bring Shabbos candles? She said, yes. I got onto my phone. I overnighted another 2 baskets from Amazon. Thursday, this is Wednesday night. Thursday morning, it's at my door. From 4 to 8 a.m., they delivered it. I filled up a 3rd basket of Shabbos candles, and I gave it to my husband, and he brought it on Thursday. Thursday night, my friend Rifki sends me a message. Honey, the basket is empty.
Wow.
All the candles are gone. So Friday, I sat down and I wrote a whole letter to Rachel, telling her the ripple effect of
Wow,
one yes,
beautiful.
please. You know what Rachel wrote back? Honey, my basket is empty too. And then on Sunday, my husband went to, at the end of the Shiva, like to end the Shiva, he went with Mushka and Rachi went with him. And I sent more Shabbos candles. And Victoria, who's in college, she said, I will give these to my friends. We have incredible power. And Rachel is a leader. And Kara is a leader. And it's not just for the Orthodox from the people. The people that are not Orthodox, they might not even be Shomer Shabbos or Shomer Kashrus. Rachel, my husband kashered Rachel's kitchen. So she said, I might go out to eat in a not kosher restaurant, but at least my dishes will go to heaven, So I'm saying we're talking about people that are not necessarily, and it's not their fault of their own, they didn't grow up with that education. But every single Jew has incredible power when they come in contact with something from Klipas Naiga. What are you going to do with it? It's up to us to make this world holy.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Did you? I didn't know this.